Hello, everyone. This is Keith George, the Big Tech Coach. I am coming to you with a quick product review. This is the Nook by Barnes & Noble, a 7-inch tablet that is retailing right now for just $50. So you can see the labeling there. Has a back camera as well as a front-facing camera, and has a nice, decent quality feel to it. The back is plastic, but it's slightly coated, so it's not quite as slippery. You can see the micro SD card slot there. On the other side, you have a volume rocker, power button up top, headphone jack, and charging port, and the microphone. The bottom, nothing. And you may have noticed on the back, the rear speaker. I actually have some concerns about that because this device is not particularly loud anyway. And if you hold it in a particular way, you may actually be covering up the speaker. So that's something to pay attention to. Well, let's take a look. One of the reasons that I wanted to pick this device up is I'm not really a Nook user. I've never had a Barnes & Noble device before. I don't utilize the Barnes & Noble store, but I had heard that this well-priced $50, fairly good quality device was a full-fledged Android 6.0 Marshmellow compatible device, and in fact has the Google Play Store and all of the Google apps built right in. These were all preloaded. Now, the device did come with many Nook specific apps. One of the things that I was curious about right off the bat is, would I be able to delete those apps? They were pre-installed on the home screen. Actually, most of them appeared down here in the dock. However, I was able to remove them from the home screen, although you are not able to delete them, which that's a good compromise. If you're not a Nook user, you can move those off out of your way, but there is some cause for them to provide the device at this cost. So as I mentioned, you have full access to the Play Store. You can see that the device is fairly responsive. I kind of like the feel of it. I'm a huge 7-inch device fan. I like that you can hold it in one hand, and that aspect of it is nice. Get this a little brighter. So it has a good screen quality. You can see it is reflective. You can see me there in the background, but the screen seems to be pretty good. It is fairly responsive. You can see that it, when you rotate the device, when it actually is recognizing the rotation, it does so pretty quickly. I have come across a couple of things to mention, though. First, the setup was very, very quick and easy. It did ask you to log in with your Nook Barnes & Noble credentials initially. However, you were able to skip over that, and I just logged in with my Google account. I've added several apps to the device, a couple of widgets just to kind of get an idea of how things would look, how quick it was. That gives you a good idea of the loading. As far as Wi-Fi speed, right now I'm actually hotspotting through my phone, so we'll give that a little bit of acknowledgement. On the internet, again, opening Chrome, opens fairly quickly. Just try to go to a couple of searches here for images. So if we look for tigers, you can see that it's pretty responsive. Scrolling is smooth. No problems with that. As far as some of the more powerful apps, if you open up Microsoft's mobile version of Word, you see it takes just a moment to open the first time. but once open, it is seems to be pretty smooth. The keyboard is decent. It's not, maybe the best I've ever used on a mobile device. Certainly not the worst I've ever used either. Let's see if we can skip sign up for now. Just get into a blank document so we can see the keyboard. So you can see Word is slowing the device down just a little bit. It comes with 1 gig of internal RAM and 8 gigs of storage. Of course, that micro SD slot lets you expand that just about as far as you would want to. So when we go to type, you see the keyboard, pretty standard keyboard. The caps lock does lock on, so that's pretty nice. It's pretty responsive. You do not, when you're just typing on the keyboard, get a sound response. I haven't dug in to see if I can adjust that or not. And there's no feel for your normal actions. But again, for a $50 Android device, just to pick things up, seems to be pretty smooth. And we can do a couple of things here. As I mentioned, it does have both front and rear facing cameras. So if we go to camera, you'll see a nice picture of my table here. And you can flip that around and you'll see what I'm recording with, that wonderful IPEVO system. So pretty good. Obviously can do video, things like that. I think the biggest advantages here are that it is pure Android 6.0 Marshmellow out of the box. You don't have to go through the hoops of the Nook sign up or necessarily go through that. It differs from the the Amazon Fire tablets, where you can get the Play Store on there, but there's several hoops to jump through. You're pretty tied into Amazon. So I think this was a nice move. I'm not sure if Barnes & Noble will make the money off of the books and media that they hope to by making the device available at this price point. I think they will have, some consumers that will buy it for that reason. But I think many people like me are going to see it as a very affordable, nice quality, pure Android device in the smaller form factor that, some of us like. And I think there's going to be a lot of devices snapped up at this price point that don't necessarily lead to a lot of purchasing through the Nook store. Regardless, it's a nice little device for $49.99 plus tax. Nice little device that I'm looking forward to spending some more time with. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little product review, and I hope you'll follow me on Twitter at Big Tech Coach. This is Keith George, the Big Tech Coach. Thanks for joining me.